When the trinomial has a leading coefficient here, when there's a 6 or a 3 or a 2 that's next to x squared, that means we got to factor with kind of a longer method. You might be familiar with the short method, like x squared minus 3x plus 2. This one you just start off 2 parentheses with an x. That's the shorter method. Okay, we can't use that method because that 6 makes things more complicated. What we have to do is multiply the first and the last numbers. Then you got to find two numbers that add up to be negative 11, but multiply to be negative 60. And so those two numbers, it takes some whittling down, but negative 15 times 4 makes negative 60. Negative 15 plus 4 makes negative 11. And watch your signs. That's a big place where students usually have a hard time, like is getting the signs correct. You got to make sure if you add them, they make this middle term. Okay, so if you're wondering how I got those, it's just because I've done this problem so many times. What you want to do, if you just can't tell right off the bat, is try factors that you know work. Like 10 times 6 makes 60. But if I try to make 10 negative, negative 10 plus 6 makes negative 4. It doesn't make negative 11. So that's how you know that pair is not going to work. Just keep going through all the pairs that multiply to be negative 60. Okay, so when you find your pair, rewrite the polynomial with that middle term. Those middle coefficients replace, they attach an x to them, and then you're going to factor by grouping. And then you got to factor out what's in common in this first parenthesis. So 6x squared minus 15x, factor out a 3x. And then 4x minus 10, factor out a 2. Because they both have a 2 that you can give. And so the final part is actually, it's kind of weird. Look, this is a term in math, and this is a term because they're separated by a plus sign. So you can factor out a 2x minus 5 from both of these orange terms. Put the 2x minus 5 outside. You factored it out. You divided out of both of those terms. Oh, and now what's left over here is the stuff on the outside. You still have a 3x plus 2 left over after you factor it out. And that's it. Now we're done, because if you multiply those together, that makes this up here.